Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's second video. We're looking at the ECM Perfect Study Model for today's second video. This is your 30-day European outlook, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say about the first video today was 6 AM upload, and we've got 10 to 14 day coming up for you later on this afternoon. That will include all other regular features. Please like, share, and subscribe on the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so we're going to start off with the week 1 mean sell pressure anomaly, taking us from the 13th to 20th of February. The coming week will have high pressure sitting over and to the south of Europe, so through southern parts of the Mediterranean, in particular, reaching northwards as well. Up the western side of Europe, there is a trough of low pressure in the far north and northeast, but generally high pressure is dominating where the jet stream's up here somewhere, so most parts of Europe are on the mild side of the jet. The 500 millibar height anomaly from the Arctic and North Pole view down is looking like that, a ridge of above average heights extending from the Atlantic into northern, central and west Europe, just with trough of low pressure in the extreme east, generally to the east of the Black Sea. That's where it's going to be coldest, but most parts of Europe dominating by high pressure and looking very mild. So temperature anomalies show that cold area up quite nicely around the Black Sea, going southwards in towards Turkey, and then on in towards the Middle East. However, most parts of Europe look very mild, exceptionally mild through much of Northern Europe, through Scandinavia, back into UK and Ireland, very mild there too. The Low Countries, Germany, Poland, in towards Ukraine, looking really mild through those areas, generally 3 to 6 degrees above average, but Northern Scandinavia going to between 6 and 10 degrees above normal. Goodness gracious me. And most parts of the Med looking very, very mild as well, away from the far eastern portion of the Mediterranean where it is cooler. Precipitation looks like that, so a little bit on the unsettled side in the far north and northeast of Europe, particularly around the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania, and up into northern parts of Scandinavia as well. But Western Europe looks very dry through the UK, through Ireland, through France, Spain, Portugal. Most parts of the Med, the central western part of the Med look really dry. Eastern portions of the Mediterranean looking very dry as well. So it really is a mild and dry scene across many parts of Europe. Going a little bit further northwards, eastern Germany is a little bit more unsettled, as is Poland, and then that extends up into the Baltic Sea states. Right, week 2 will be the 20th, 27th of February. High pressure on the move, pulling out into the Atlantic to the west of UK and Ireland. Low pressure beginning to dig in towards northern Scandinavia, perhaps, and the northeast of Europe. Also lower pressure down through southern parts of Europe into the Mediterranean. The 500 millibar height anomaly for week 2 looks like that. So the ridge of above average heights, the high pressure basically is pulling out into the Atlantic. Some lower pressure down towards Spain, high pressure on the eastern side of the Mediterranean, and then low pressure pushing through the north and the northeast Europe, sending the jet stream on the northwest southeast alignment, a little bit like that into the far north of Europe. The temperature anomaly looks like this, so still very mild across much of northern northeast of Europe, Scandinavia, the Baltic Sea states in particular, looking really mild, and going southwards in towards northern parts of Ukraine as well. Mild into the eastern portion of Europe as well, through the Balkans, to the Black Sea, southwards into the east of them, looking generally mild through those regions. But west it's turning a little bit cooler, so closer to average with the temperature, actually a little bit below average through southern parts of England and also northern parts of France there. So a little bit cooler in the west of Europe, warmest or mildest in the east and the northeast, and precipitation anomalies look like that, very dry in the west of Europe again, around France, UK, Ireland, the dry spell continues. Further eastwards it looks more unsettled, a little bit above average for precipitation, probably mostly rainfall given the temperature anomaly across the eastern part of Europe. And also parts of Norway getting above average precipitation, but southern Sweden in particular looking rather on the dry side. Down into the Med, driving average in the eastern part of Med and towards Portugal as well. Perhaps a little bit wetter through the central bowl of the Mediterranean. Week 3 will be the 27th of February to 6th of March. High pressure then is right in over the top of the UK and Ireland, bringing a very anticyclonic start to March, extending into some other western parts of Europe perhaps. 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that too. We've got above average height sitting in the west of Europe. I would think there's probably going to be a trough through here, but it doesn't really show it. But I would imagine there's likely to be some sort of trough through the eastern side of Europe. The temperature anomaly looks like that's still above average through northern parts of Europe, especially like through Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, up towards Finland, into Baltic Sea states. Again, northern parts of Poland and Germany also coming out with above average temperatures. They're extending back into Scotland and Ireland, both England and Wales near normal for precipitation there, for temperature I should say there. And then further southwards, just no signal really, so this white area could be finely balanced between being either cooler or milder than average, would depend on the exact wind direction through those areas. Precipitation anomalies for week 3. Looking very dry. We've got that area of high pressure, so that's particularly through northern parts of Spain, Portugal, France, into towards the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, up to Denmark, into southern parts of Sweden and Norway, and then back into Ireland and the UK as well. Dry but normal through there. Further eastwards, we've got nearer normal precipitation from eastern Germany to the Black Sea, a little bit wetter than average up across Norway. And then the southern part of Europe, particularly the central part of Med, again looks a little bit on the unsettled side. Week 4 will be the 6th to the 13th of March. High pressure beginning to pull out to the north and west of Europe then. So heading up towards Greenland and Iceland. Trough of low pressure in the far north and northeast. That might start to bring some colder air into northern parts of Europe. Some lower pressure down towards the southwestern part of the Mediterranean as well. 500 millibar height anomaly shows that area of above average heights pulling out to our north and northwest. Trough of low pressure digging into northern parts of Scandinavia. The temperature anomaly looks like that. So a little bit above average temperature in the extreme northeast of Europe. Otherwise, again, not much of a signal. Could we be starting to see things cooling down on the west side of Europe if the wind begins to turn into the north? Possibly. And the precipitation anomaly still looks really dry through the northwest of Europe. So again, Ireland, UK, France, Germany, Low Countries coming out dry but normal through there. Southern Europe looking a little bit wetter, and the far north of Europe perhaps seeing an increase in precipitation too. Right, that's your 30-day forecast done. Let's have a look at weeks 5 and 6 data before we go, because, well, why not? So week 5 will be the 13th to the 20th of March. High pressure moving up towards Greenland and Iceland then. Low pressure perhaps across northern and northeastern parts of Europe. What's a 500 millibar height anomaly doing? So that's showing blocking around Greenland and Iceland. This might be in response to the southern stratospheric warming. Below average heights through much of northern and western Europe. That could start to bring colder air into the north and west of Europe. The temperature anomaly shows the milder temperatures retreating away to the extreme east, like the west of Russia and down towards the Black Sea. No signal in most areas. It could well be starting to turn colder there in week 5, and not much of a signal for precipitation, but does look quite wet around the Balkans and over the Adriatic towards Italy. And then week 6 will be the 20th, 27th of March. So again, looks a little bit blocked, doesn't it, from Greenland over towards Scandinavia. Low pressure generally covering much of Europe at this point. Probably be trough by the look of it. 500 millibar height anomaly, again showing quite extensive blocking through northern latitudes from Greenland, to Scandinavia, Svalbard, maybe, with a trough of below average heights again through the southern southwestern parts of Europe. The temperature anomaly Looks like that. Not much of a signal. Mildest in the extreme east and southeast of Europe. And precipitation anomalies look like that. Again, not much of a signal. Right, so that's the 30-day look ahead, done and dusted. So how are things looking? I think we can say that, like, the next week or so it's going to be very mild. Looks like it gradually cools down into the end of February and the beginning of March. Then we might be looking at some northern blocking getting through the middle part of March, taking us into the second half of the month. If that happens, it could turn quite a lot colder across many parts of Europe, and maybe a late taste of winter. But of course, we should wait and see about that. We're going to be back later on. That's just for a forecast done for this week for the UK and for Europe as well. We'll do it all over again next Tuesday, and we'll have a look at this model once more on Saturday morning and see what it's showing then. That's with an Ireland and UK focus. We'll be back later on with your 10 to 14 there, including all other regular features. Come back for that then. For this week's external European outlook, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.